Alrighty. Welcome back to the. Or let me actually restart while we move things out of the way. Alright. And actually grab a mouse so we can look at ourselves while we're doing it. I like doing that because I'm a narcissist. Anyhow, we are live. So, welcome back to the Grognards. Now, when I mention 40K and a green skinned menace, you may think I'm talking about the Orc. Well, in which case you clearly didn't read the video title, but hey, I commend you for sticking in this far. Please just keep watching, it helps our watch time. Even just leave the room, just keep it on, I don't care. Just
Yeah.
or watch time.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
Grab like 6 phones, all of them just like turn on this video and let it play the whole way.
100%.
Yeah. Turn on repeat as well.
But back to the topic at hand, because today we are talking about the Incredible Hulk. Now, we've covered some lower powered superheroes previously, but Hulk definitely isn't one of those tools. I mean, who really cares about Captain America's tactics or Spider Man having wrist mounted jizz launchers when you have the power of being angry? I mean, like, really angry. Like, imagine showing up to a Star Wars convention and telling everyone that Jar Jar Binks is cooler than Darth Vader and just bottling up all of that rage in the room. And it would only be a fraction of what the Hulk can muster. But unlike the impotent wrath of screeching Comic Con nerds, this anger has an actual effect. The more angry Hulk gets, the more powerful he becomes. We made a chart to demonstrate. It'll be here or here. He's edited in the video, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's gonna be here.
Yeah, I'm just pointing to one of the directions. Now, in the
Right in the middle.
now in the grim darkness of the 42nd millennia, there is a lot to be angry about, and as always, we will be running two different scenarios to see if the Incredible Hulk will survive Warhammer 40,000. So in this first scenario, we will see him teleported into the 42nd millennium. In the second, he will be born into it. So let's get this going.
I think that the obvious starting point is World War Hulk. So the way that this went, this is like the beginning of Planet Hulk.
Yeah.
So during that, they Hulk was going crazy. They put him in this fucking ship, and then they sent him off into space. He was just supposed to like, I think he was just supposed to like orbit Earth or some shit
Yeah.
like that. But he ended up going through a rift in space and ending up at Sakaar, another planet.
Yeah.
But what if he went through that rift and he ended up in 40K?
Yeah. I mean, warp rips instead of a normal rip. I
Yeah,
mean, that's just a right off answer what happened to begin with.
it's so close to the scenario already,
Yeah.
anyways.
And that's actually sort of an interesting situation because that's the Hulk,
Yeah,
just the Hulk.
yeah,
That's not Bruce Banner. Bruce Banner is kind of repressed. He's stuck in the mind of the Hulk at almost a subconscious level.
yeah,
Wants nothing to do with existence itself. Um,
yeah,
but interestingly, the Hulk is a little bit more self-aware during this period. He's not just pure rage.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, this is a moment in time where the Hulk got stuck as the main identity.
yeah, and let's be honest, that's what we care more about anyhow.
Yeah,
This isn't if Bruce Banner would survive
yeah.
Warhammer 40K. Um,
Now,
so right off the bat, him being teleported likely means, unlike the other superheroes that we ran these scenarios with, he wouldn't be on Terra,
yeah,
on Earth. And frankly, if he was, it would be a little bit one sided in his favor. I mean, at the end of the day, I think Hulk has a lot of ability to really fuck up Terra given just his sheer power level.
Yeah.
and the fact that they wouldn't have the time to deal with him. And in addition to that, they wouldn't be able to deploy their massive fucking weapons. You're not going to exterminate Terra.
Yeah.
And it's possible, but unlikely that the 10,000, the uh, custodian guard may be able to deal with him because he's not fully invincible. I mean, when you're
Yeah.
looking at that, um, I mean, I think there was a scenario where, uh, now, admittedly, this is a fringe scenario, so it may not be worth considering. But there was a scenario, I think, in the Old Man Logan where he actually ate Wolverine, just ate him whole, basically.
Yeah.
And Wolverine cut his way out and killed the Hulk.
Yeah.
And
It's possible to kill him. It's just incredibly hard.
yeah,
Because the more you attack him, the angrier he gets, and the more strength he gets.
yeah. I mean, I'm trying to remember. I mean, Aurora might armor, like the Custodes wear. I mean, that's some really durable shit, but at the end of the day, I think Hulk at a sufficient level of rage is still punching through that. Even if he's not punching through it, he's doing enough damage with that single punch to break every single bone simultaneously, likely causing organ ruptures on the spot. And Custodes can heal from a lot. I mean, there have been cases where like they've had part of their brains blown out and they keep on fighting. But if it's just repetitive, just that over and over,
Yeah.
there's a good chance. I mean, it's really up in the air whether the Custodes would be able to fight the Hulk. To be completely honest
Well,
with you,
let's first just figure out like where does he end up
yeah.
in this? Like, is it a rift that just has him orbiting Terra?
So I think I was running through the Terra situation first,
Yeah.
just because I think that's a very quick scenario.
Okay. Yeah,
Because
yeah.
what it
I
comes
mean,
down to is he either gets killed by the Custodes, which
so
I'm not certain is likely to happen with his level of power,
in
frankly.
Planet Hulk, Hulk does figure out who is in charge on this new planet that he lands on. He ends up getting captured. They use this like collar on him
Yeah,
to force him to do shit. And he ends up figuring out like the Hulk figures out who the leader is there and he fights him. He takes him out.
yeah. Yeah, that's kind of what I was figuring would happen.
Yeah.
Um, is that it seems like Hulk would realize eventually, after just mowing through enough people, mowing through Space Marines,
Yeah.
mowing through the Adeptus
And
Arbites,
repeatedly hearing Emperor,
yeah, and
Emperor,
like
Emperor.
eventually he would just make his way to the palace, even by circumstance
Yeah.
of just massacring people. Um, and there is always the potential here that he may actually be corrupted by Corn.
Yeah.
Now that being said, it really depends. So the way like getting corrupted by the ruinous powers work is oftentimes it's done sort of subtly. Um, in a case like this,
Yeah.
where he's entirely isolated from other people, I think this is going to be Corn actually intervening himself, not as like a physical manifestation or anything like that. It's just
Like
going to be Corn almost like whispering into his ear, just being like, "Hey, buddy, blood to the blood god. Isn't this isn't this great? Hey,
and
kill that guy, kill that guy, kill
he,
that guy." And
and
just
then helping him and encouraging him to get to the Emperor. And
yeah,
I would guess that by the time that he gets to the Emperor, he is even screaming blood for the blood god.
yeah. And in such a scenario, then I mean, I already think that Hulk's likely to come out on top of the 10,000. Definitely likely to come out on top of Space Marines just due to due to
Yeah.
that raw power, just tanking missiles all the time. Like there's like it really seems like the only way to kill Hulk is from the inside.
Yeah.
And I mean maybe a powered sword might work, maybe. And it's hard
You
to say.
you would literally have to cut through him the full way.
Yeah.
Like full on decapitation or some shit. That's like the only ways that you could take him out.
Yeah.
Because any type of wound that he gains, he's gonna heal pretty quickly.
Yeah, and that's the big thing. I mean, Space Marines heal fast, but they don't heal nearly as fast as the Hulk.
No.
Um, and Custodians, they do heal similar to Space Marines, but they're more fighting through death and not feeling the pain. I think if he gets corrupted by Korn, what's likely to happen is that he will wipe through the Custodian Guard. Korn will be pouring all of his energy possible into this. This is like his new champion.
Oh yeah, of course.
Fuck.
This is literally a creature that gains strength from anger.
Yeah. Like he would be looking at Karn, looking at Angron, and being like, "Hey, fuck these guys. I don't give a shit about them anymore." I think he'd keep empowering the Hulk until the Hulk eventually gets to the Infinity Gate. He actually gets to the Golden Throne itself, and now this is a little bit interesting because the Emperor himself, he's almost like this giant, like energy source at this point. Like he's not human.
Yeah.
Like despite the art you'll see of him on the throne, like it's a literal acid trip walking in there. Like Gilliman can hardly remember his meeting with the Emperor, and each time he saw him a different way. Now, that being said, being empowered by a chaos god, he may have more of a sort of true sight sort of scenario like Horus did. In the end of the death, Horus, the Emperor, is basically just an old man.
Yeah.
Um, rather than the shining golden god he's normally seen as. Sister of Battle, I believe, also saw him as a just a normal old man in pain on a throne. So it's possible that that's all Hulk will see. In which case, he just going in, he kills the Emperor, and then Vulcan's
Yeah.
protocol gets set off. The amulet. Well, actually, first before that, so the Emperor is basically controlling the webway, keeping a bunch of demons from pouring into Terra. Those would all just break the fuck through. Terra would be overwhelmed by demons, and then uh, the the Amulet of Hammers protocol would, excuse me, that would end up triggering. Terra itself would blow up. Now that may kill the Hulk. It's hard to say. We've never seen just how powerful this situation is. Um, it could be like destroying entire like solar systems nearby. Like it's hard to say just at the level of power this is at. Um, but in either case, Terra is gone. The Astronomicon is gone. The Imperium is officially fallen. The Hulk would usher in a victory for the Chaos Gods, unlike
Yeah.
anything that Abaddon uh, has ever even gotten close to accomplishing. And yeah, so that's almost so it's not
Ye-
the whole first scenario, but it's like a subset of scenario one.
Yeah. I think that him being on Terra would be way too easy for him. It would put such little distance between him and the objective.
Yeah.
I think that the more interesting one is him landing on an orc planet.
Now that could be fucking cool. So right off the bat, I mean,
It-
orc are not the smartest fucking thing. I mean, they see something big, they see something green, they see something mean, and they might even just think of him as a
How
weird looking orc.
do you know how tall an orc is? They're like 11 feet tall or something like that, right?
They're about, it varies. I mean, you're looking at about anywhere from like 7 to 12.
Okay. Well, I believe the Hulk is 12 foot tall.
Yeah. So he's already at like,
He's already at like max height orc.
yeah,
And then in the comics, they depict him as getting taller as he gets angry, which I think is weird and funny. Because like by the time that he's like Titan Hulk, he's like a fucking celestial.
dude, that's actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
Um,
Titan Hulk is badass. If any of you out there have not seen Titan Hulk at all,
I haven't.
like look up Titan Hulk. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I've never even heard of that. I'm gonna be honest. That's
Titan
why you're
Hulk.
the comic guy.
Titan Hulk is the most powerful Hulk has ever been. It's literally like can like snap a fucking planet out of existence
Yeah.
Hulk.
Now, here's what's actually kind of interesting though in this scenario is that I think that Hulk would integrate into Orc society.
Yeah.
In which case, you're looking at a Hulk who's not perpetually raging. You're looking at a Hulk that's actually quite happy, quite
Yeah.
content with his life.
Yeah.
So he's not at his max power level by any means. And likely incorporating so much of Orc culture and being accepted within it. So he's likely to become a boss, a full-on like mega
Yeah.
boss. He's gonna lead his own great war.
Man,
Um,
he is so perfect to be an orc. Like as soon as he lands, he's immediately gonna do the same thing that he did in Planet Hulk, and he's gonna start destroying stuff. And none of the orcs are gonna be like, "Hey, what the fuck are you doing?" They're gonna be like, "Yeah, let's fucking destroy everything."
yeah. Or they're gonna be like, this kid's trying to destroy my stuff.
Yeah.
Why am I doing a weird redneck thing?
Eh, that's how I imagine the orcs. They're all
Yeah.
rednecks.
They're supposed to be like really thick Cockney, but I kind of like the redneck accent for
A lot of the times whenever you read orc shit, this is something that I found out, you could do it in either a Cockney accent or a Jamaican accent.
It's all about the war, man.
Yeah. It's all about the law, man. God damn.
Smash the humies. Oh,
Yeah.
that's beautiful. Uh,
It doesn't work 100% of the time, but it does work like 99% of the time.
back to the original topic.
Yeah.
So he probably won't reach max power.
No.
I mean, he'll
No,
probably be
absolutely not.
fighting orcs early on before they truly like accept him, and he starts calming down more. But I mean, when he got the Worldbreaker Hulk,
Yeah.
that was because like his children died,
Yeah.
his wife died. That
Yeah.
was a path of vengeance.
Yeah, he's not gonna I don't think he's gonna get too far above normal Hulk level.
Yeah,
So I think it's safe to say that he's pretty much just that same normal Hulk level all the
yeah.
time.
And like even if all the orc around him die, he's probably just orc culture, like just thinking, oh well, there's a new orc. It's basically
Yeah.
the same as Grazit. This is
It
Grazul.
it helps that the Hulk is really bad at talking
Yeah,
and his scream is a wah.
yeah.
Yeah.
It does kind of sound like a wow.
Yeah.
So I think right off the bat, you have a massive figure leading a massive wah. Um, the moment they start getting like interstellar, they're going to just fucking smash through planets.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
then
They're gonna be taking over so much.
it's really a matter of who they end up going up against. I mean, the tower definitely well fortified. It's a costly thing to take to them. They have few planets. They have like maybe what I can't even remember, but like 50 planet stops. I'm not a Tau guy. I forget about them most of the time.
I forget about them until I see them and
Yeah,
I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's that one race that nobody talks about."
yeah. Nobody cares about the blue bovine boys. Fucking cattle men who look like um in fucking weed suits. But any back to the topic at hand. I think that at the end of the day, really anything he goes up against in a 1v1 fight, he's likely to just smash. And
Yeah.
I think he's likely to keep continuing on that trajectory of just smashing through various planets. And if he's going up against the Tau, they have the issue where they don't have the sort of mentality the Imperium does. They don't have the mentality where they're like, let's destroy our own planets to deny them to the enemy. So it's possible we could see the death of the Tau out of sheer stubbornness. Plus, they don't have a lot of the same, what I said, the same completely fuck you levels of destructive technology. Like,
Yeah,
they don't have the
they're
shit that blows up stars.
they are essentially just like the normal, like futuristic army.
Yeah,
Like they are something that could exist in Marvel right now
yeah,
and just
basically.
be a normal
It would be
planet.
accurate to think of the Tau as being what humans would look like, normal humans would look like if they were transported in to Warhammer and given like a thousand years of advancement or so. Maybe, maybe a few hundred. I'm not good with technology, man.
I don't know. It's hard to tell. It's it's definitely a thing that's what's the word? Not logarithmic, but the other one.
You're already saying
It
words I
it
don't know.
it builds on itself. The more technology you get, the faster you advance, is what I'm saying.
Okay,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think he's likely to just smash through various planets. I think he's likely to be able to take on the Tau. He's going to be able to take on other orc Wabans. Um, the Eldar, let's be honest, they don't have much of a chance. I mean, sure, they could bring out the Avatar of Cain, which I guess we should go off how it's at least stated to be in the lore. But at the same time, there's so many examples. Pretty much every example of the Avatar of Cain has saw it really not be that consequential. And I don't. I mean, the Space Marine captain has killed it so many times that I'm certain the Hulk could. Um, then going up against the Imperium, I think they're going to run into the. So it basically ends up being how quickly the Imperium responds is a big factor.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, right now they're dealing with all these hive fleets, they're dealing with the Brionetsis and the Necrons. And if this isn't immediately near Terra, it doesn't seem like an immediate threat to them. They may let it keep going through like multiple like solar systems easily before anyone really responds. And even then, when people do respond, it's probably not going to be in sufficient enough force to necessarily
I
stop them.
I think that if we're specifically going to be taking that specific version of Hulk, he's most likely going to want to go against the Imperium first because it was the Illuminati that sent him up there.
That is a fair point. And we will be right back, or at least I will be after the batteries. We can edit this out. So, as you were saying, he's likely to be going after the Illuminati. Or no,
It's
as
specifically humans. I don't remember if he specifically remembered that it was the Illuminati that sent him up there, but he does know that it was his friends on Earth that sent him there. Because I don't think that he's going to be able to tell at first just by landing on the planet with the orcs that like, hey, I'm in a completely different universe. I think he's just going to assume like this is another race on another
Yeah.
planet in my universe.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as if different species are unheard of in the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean,
there's so many.
none of them knew that Sakaar existed, and that's where he landed
Yeah,
in the original in Planet Hall. So, and there's all kinds of races on there that they've never seen before.
yeah. So likely going for the Imperium first, and then it's a matter of how fast they respond. Do they Are they able to respond immediately? Are they able to launch a decisive action? Because I think it's possible if he's um, for them to actually engage in multiple planned exterminatuses. They could just completely nuke, firebomb, just fuck up these worlds, destroy basically everything. I mean, they could use the life eater virus. There's a good chance Hulk won't survive the life eater virus in our reality. It destroys everything from like the tiniest, like it destroys all the animals, all the plants, all the bacteria.
Yeah.
There is
He
nothing.
he is not immune to like he's immune to a lot of different things, but one thing he's definitely not immune to is like different types of like knockout gas or like
Yeah,
viruses or like whatever like biological or like environmental type stuff. He's usually not immune to that kind of stuff at
yeah.
all.
So I mean, there's always the chance they could be employing a life-eating virus and
Yeah.
wipe them out that way.
Yeah.
Especially when dealing with orc who are just infamous for popping up continuously. I mean, the Valhallans fought orc like one time with an invasion, and ever since, like every few years, they have a new fucking orc warband that just pops up, spreads out of the ground, and this is like frozen tundra.
Yeah.
So this is not a place that's very amenable to growing fucking orc spores or any form of
Yeah.
spores, but orc spores are just so durable that they can end up doing it.
Yeah. God damn.
Then the issue is though, is they're not necessarily likely to go for that immediate step. That might be a last step. That might see,
Yeah. He would end up carving through people
yeah,
for a while. I mean, and depending on the planet that he lands on, he's probably destroying buildings as well.
easily.
Because he's not choosing a target and going after a target. He is just running around destroying everything. That's how
Yeah,
he operates.
yeah. I mean, he probably end up being more tempted by going after military threats just because those are what's shooting at him.
Yeah.
And like his orc will probably want to, and they'll be like, let's go after the shooter gets um and stuff like that. And then he'll mainly focus on military targets early. But at the end of the day, orc or orc, they're and
Do you
he's
think
a rage monster. He's going to wipe the planet clean.
do you
Any
think
planet.
that they would I think he might have a weapon. I didn't think about that at first. He might have an orc weapon, like a chain axe or some shit.
Yeah, that's definitely possible. Actually,
Yeah.
they might craft him a weapon.
Yeah. Like a two-handed chain axe.
Yeah, or even just a simple chopper,
Yeah.
because
Yeah, yeah.
I think the chopper might be better suited to him.
Probably.
Because
He's not operating machinery.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then you also a lot of the like chainsword strategy is still using it as a chainsaw. Like once you get that good cut, you're kind of like holding it in there,
Oh, he's
twisting
not
it
he's
through.
not doing that. He's not doing that. He's fucking slicing through and moving on.
Yeah. So the
If it
chopper,
if it gets stuck in the person, he's leaving it.
yeah,
Or he's throwing them with the fucking with the weapon.
yeah. There's a good chance he just took like a fucking helicopter blade from a
Deathcopter.
death copter, um,
Yeah.
and is just using that as a chopper and just cutting through people. Honestly,
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
now it's in this scenario. I don't think you would actually manage to reach Terra in
Yeah.
either situation. I think,
I think in most scenarios, Hulk turns out pretty well.
yeah,
Like he makes it in most scenarios. But I think that being in an orc war gang, while that is probably the most interesting one to think about, it's mostly because it isn't just like an instant victory.
yeah. I mean, it's certainly possible. I mean, he might amass up enough orc. He might be able to unseat Gazgul, Mag, Uruk, Draka, and then take his entire war, and then just keep expanding and just keep
Yeah.
going, and then just
Yeah.
conquering planet after planet.
Yeah,
And
if he does that, he might be able to initiate the Ragnar War or whatever.
yeah, and also, so I'm not super familiar with that specific one. I do know the War of the Beast, in which at a certain point, once Uruk got enough power, they started to become more intelligent.
Yeah. So I'm not 100% sure on this because I'm not very familiar with 40K. But if I remember correctly, I believe that the Ragnar is a predicted event amongst the orcs of like a time where there's going to be the Great War that ends the everything, where they go to war against the universe.
I mean, it is certainly possible, but at the same time, that might be better seen more as a superstition.
Yeah.
Because we do know, like I said, War of the Beast. We know once Orc have enough power and Wa energy built up, they actually become more intelligent. They speak in full, like, coherent sentences in Low Gothic. They've sent diplomats to the Imperium, like, telling them, hey, surrender to us. So they lose a little bit of their like savageness. Their current state's almost like a state of degeneration. So it's possible that he would just like build up that one to the point where not only they're intelligent, but he might build it up to the point where they end up is the primeval, the Kroy, which were actually or that might actually put the Hulk in his current state, not his full rage state, but his current state, to shame. I mean, these guys were fucking massive, like easily 20 feet tall, if I recall.
Yeah. If
Um,
he initiated that, I think that he would be unseated. And they would quickly realize, like, hey, this is not an orc.
yeah.
What is this guy?
I mean, if they just get to the War of the Beast level, then
Yeah.
there's a good chance that they might still follow him just because of his power, his personality. He may not be quite an orc, but he's wiki enough. Blessed by like Dorka Morka, he
Yeah.
fucking unseated Gazgul Madura Thraka after all. Um, but if they get to Krork level, then they're definitely just being like, hey, fuck this guy.
Oh yeah.
And he might view that as a betrayal, and that might actually build up.
Yeah, he's against them now too.
Yeah, that might just build up a situation where he's continually getting more angry, and now
Yeah.
he's against the orc, and he's just wiping out the orc now.
Yeah. There is actually a specific scene in very early in Planet Hulk where he ends up seeing the Silver Surfer and he also has a collar, but the Hulk doesn't realize that he has a collar. Sees the Silver Surfer as a friend because he recently fought beside him
Yeah,
and thought, "Oh, this guy is another guy who betrayed me," and almost got the World Breaker Hulk just from that alone
yeah.
because they thought he's being betrayed by even more friends.
So there you go. He's likely to end up in World Breaker Hulk in this scenario. Likely after escalating work to just an unfathomable level.
Yeah.
I mean, if he gets them even near Krork, there's a good chance, let's say just the Imperium had bigger problems at the time, there is a very good chance that he would be able to reach Terra. And I'm I'm really blanking on the word beast. I'm trying to remember if there were Primarch involved. I can't remember right now.
If he reaches Worldbreaker Hulk and
But the
then goes
elements
to
that
Terra, he is likely to cause like major seismic
yeah,
events.
yeah, because I mean the only chance potentially to deal with him in that state is, like I said, just a virus bombing the planet with the World Eater virus, or maybe like a void ship battle, being able to like
Yeah.
fucking wipe out his ships, leave him stranded. But even then, like
He he can survive space for a good
yeah,
while. Because there are many times where he has just like left Earth
yeah,
by jumping.
yeah, that's fair. He might be able to just jump between planets,
He
and
could jump
eventually
between ships and like do a space battle in person.
that is true. So that's another thing.
Yeah.
So what might happen in this scenario is potentially, let's say, every ship gets destroyed effectively, you end up with a massive space Hulk.
Yeah.
And it's ironic Hulk isn't the space Hulk.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah.
Hulk haunts the space Hulk.
Yeah, we got a space Hulk and a space Hulk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Uh, so
Yeah. I think I think that's the scenario. I think that's scenario one.
yeah, because I mean, if he just lands on a normal world, there's a good chance that, I mean, there's a good chance he may just get stranded on a world where he's just like the only guy.
Yeah.
Because like people are trying to kill him, he kills the entire planet, but then
I think that if he ends up getting stranded on a world by himself, I think that's the only time that he would change back to Bruce Banner.
yeah, and then he'd just be the one guy on a planet, and
Yeah.
he wouldn't necessarily have the full rage. He might just be doing Bruce Bannery shit.
Yeah. Just trying to survive.
And Bruce is kind of content being alone, more
Yeah.
or less.
That there's many, I mean, a lot of the times he's found just in a shack by himself somewhere.
So in that scenario, it's just dead end for Hulk. He's
Yeah.
likely to survive, but
Yeah. I think that at least for scenario one, the answer is yes. He survives 40K.
all right. Now,
So scenario two, I've got a question for you.
yes.
Is it Hulk being born into the world, or is it Bruce Banner being born into the world?
So it's hard. It's definitely a question. Um, because I mean, Hulk is almost very independent from Bruce Banner.
Yeah.
Because you can take someone like Batman, and the moment it's no longer Bruce Wayne, it's a costume, but it no longer really feels like Batman.
Yeah.
Um,
They're the same.
yeah, like Hulk seems like almost like Venom in the sense that he has an identity independent
Yeah.
from who he happens to be hosted
Yeah.
in.
Yeah, there are times in the comics that things are referred to as like this is Hulk's favorite something,
Yeah,
or Hulk likes this,
yeah. I mean,
not Bruce Banner.
they're definitely distinct.
Yeah, they are two different people.
I would say it would really be more important for the Hulk to be born into this universe than Bruce Banner specifically.
Yeah,
Now, that being said, I would like to bring up a quick sort of scenario because I really like the Old Man Logan comics.
yeah,
And Well, not explicitly the 42nd millennium. There is always the chance um, that Hulk survives for fucking millennia. I mean, maybe that's a stretch. Maybe he gets frozen or something like that. Do we know how long Hulk lives?
Huh.
Because I don't. I'll be honest. I have no idea.
I don't know if he has an independent like age from Bruce.
Yeah.
I don't know if he ages differently at all. I don't think that's ever been a thing that's been discussed before.
We are truly trendsetters then. So I am going to assume, and this is just wild hypothesis, maybe this was in the Logan comic. I can't fucking remember. It's been a year or two at
I
least.
think he might. I think he ages in Planet Hulk a little bit.
So I
So I think it's like normal human aging.
so let's just say in this scenario he's frozen. Just say fuck it, frozen because yeah, I don't want to debate the age of Hulk, and I don't want to spend the next hour researching something I should have researched ahead of time. Um, but basically, cool scenario is the Unification Wars. Now, these are the wars on Terra where the Emperor had his Thunder Warriors. This is him having the Custodes.
I mean,
This is him at full power, living, breathing man with all of his uh, all of his perpetuals, everyone beside him at this point still. Um, so that's a thing. Hulk is a warlord, same as he was in the Old Man Logan comic, and a fight between the Hulk and the God Emperor of mankind before his proper ascension. So the God Emperor has struggled in physical altercations before. I mean, uh he has lost contests with Lehman Russ. At the end of the day, it would probably be more accurate to think of the Emperor not as the most powerful man in a physical sense, but in a mental and magical sense.
okay.
He is effectively the greatest sorcerer, for lack of a better term, the greatest psyker in
Okay.
actual 40K terms to
So
have ever lived.
is there a difference between magic and like psychic energy
Uh,
in this world?
so all psyker energy is drawn off of the warp. Now they do use the term warp sorcery to distinguish some specific types of psyker abilities which draw explicitly from the powers of chaos.
Because I believe Hulk is resistant to magic, but not resistant to like psychic abilities.
Now, you're kind of splitting hairs, I'll be honest with you. It's hard to say whether it would truly be distinct as far as Hulk is concerned, because it is effectively magic, though I will say that it is far
Let's
closer to magic than it is
let's
to, like,
just let's just assume that he's not resistant to it because most of the time he's not. He he's he is depicted as resistant when it fits the story.
yeah. So, I mean, at the end of the day, the Emperor is not all powerful. And I think that in an early fight scenario, he would first send in his Thunder Warriors, obviously. And Thunder Warriors are actually stronger than your typical Space Marine. Likely even as strong as your Primaris Marines now, perhaps even stronger than them. we don't have a direct comparison to say for certain. Now, that being said, they were also rage-filled fucking monstrosities that are constantly roided up and effectively dying from the instability of their own implants. Um, Now, I think the Hulk is going to mow through them ultimately. Even as a warlord Hulk, even as a more stable. So again, similar power level to we see with him leading the warband.
Yeah.
So he's definitely a very powerful superhero.
Yeah.
Definitely a very powerful mutant, but not the most powerful thing imaginable. And I think he's likely to go through a lot of Thunder Warriors. I think he's likely to go through some Custodies as well before the God Emperor, this time just the Emperor, takes the field. Um, Now, the Emperor has some weapons at his disposal. He has the Aurora Might armor, which I described. Um, which I described how the Custodians have that. The Emperor just has that just a little bit better up. I mean, he has like the Emperor's talent, like the unique lightning claw. He still has his own spear at this point. He has his flaming sword, which can literally cleave through souls. So that sword's something for Hulk to watch out for. I mean, it's quite possible that could cut through him.
Oh yeah, 100% it could.
Um, but Hulk may have a little bit. Well, I would say there's a good chance Hulk would realize quickly after losing like an arm or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
And the thing is, the Emperor doesn't necessarily always fight fair. So if Hulk starts gaining the advantage,
Yeah.
it starts really pounding into him and really injuring the Emperor.
Yeah.
What the Emperor is going to be employing is tricks, sorcery, deceit. The Emperor will fake his death, and then it turns out that death isn't him. That's just another Thunder Warrior that happens to be on the ground looking like the Emperor. The Emperor is now behind Hulk, fucking stabbing him with the sword. Um, I think that the illusions and all of that are going to be very difficult for the Hulk to deal with, but it
Yeah.
will just keep making him angrier at the same time.
Yeah. An illusion is going to make him angry a lot faster.
In which case, it comes down to the simple fact: will the Emperor be able to decapitate the Hulk with
Before
his sword reaches?
before he reaches like world record Hulk
Yeah, with
levels
Titan Hulk.
or Titan Hulk. That would be crazy if he reached that level.
Yeah,
Nothing could stop him at Titan Hulk level. Like he could go into war alone against Chaos Demons, most likely.
I mean, there were a few Space Marine captains. Caldor Drago, most remarkably, has literally survived like hundreds of years in the war. Just fucking LARPing his Doom guy, just cutting through demons.
Yeah, but I mean like straight up doing a one-on-one fight against Korn. Titan Hulk would win.
It's hard for me to actually go
Well,
in
I
depth
guess
on
I
his
shouldn't
manhood.
say that because I don't really know how.
Yeah, it's hard. It's genuinely hard to say. We've never seen the Chaos Gods in direct action.
Yeah.
Um, we've seen a lot of their greater demons. We've seen their ads, and a lot of their ads are really impressive. Um, and those are certainly like shards of the Chaos Gods, uh, and often very potent shards, but don't know to the
Yeah.
there's just
Yeah, I
not
get
enough
it.
data for me to make any form of conclusion or elaborate on that. I would just be throwing shit out of my ass.
Yeah.
That's the subscribe notification.
Yeah.
So in that case, it really does come down to whether the Emperor is able to land that fatal blow before the Hulk reaches a world-breaking state, in which case the Emperor is far less likely to be able to kill him. But there's also other techniques. I mean, the Emperor has drained pure chaos energy from Boris to empower himself. I mean, it's possible the Emperor may be able to just drain the life force. It may be possible he's able to use just psychic powers to make the Hulk's head explode. It's hard to say.
Just drain the gamma from him.
That is also a possibility. I mean, depending on the mechanisms of how gamma works and stuff like that.
So in Marvel, gamma is just like an energy. Even though like radiation doesn't work this way in real life, it's just kind of just like the energy that Hulk uses. Because they've been able to like put gamma into people and then move it to other people
Huh.
in Marvel comics before. So
it's very well possible that the Emperor may be able to drain it.
yeah, I'm surprised that there hasn't been a hero in or a villain that uses gamma magic.
Yeah,
in
that would
Marvel.
actually be fucking cool. Why have they not thought of this?
I don't know. They want to leave a veil of like gamma is science, not magic. But then they're like, but it acts like magic.
Like that Thor situation where they're like, oh, well, it's indistinguishable from magic because it's science. No, buddy, it's literally magic.
Yeah.
There is not a single fucking wire or anything scientific about Mjolnir.
No. If Mjolnir is using like rockets and shit to move
Yeah.
around, then I could see it being. Yeah.
Like, it judges your fucking character. You're telling me there's an AI in that solid hunk of metal which is advanced enough just by touch to know if you're a ethical and worthy human being. Like,
Yeah.
that's not fucking science, bro. That is just magic.
Yeah.
Accept it.
And have you seen the scene where that gets added to the hammer? It
No.
gets inscribed on the side. Science.
Truly,
Yeah,
truly
yeah.
advanced science. Writing words.
On the side of the hammer.
Oh
That's how you program AIs. Did you know that? You take a stone and some chisels.
I believe it. That's probably why ChatGPT produces such absolute fucking garbage most of the
Yeah.
time.
But we should move on to Scenario 2. We still haven't gone to Scenario 2.
That
And
was
we're-
a scenario too.
that was our scenario. That was
That
our
was a
complete-
scenario too.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, him being born into the world,
Yeah, I don't think that's as interesting.
like, what is likely to change between
Yeah.
that and scenario one? Like,
Probably not really
he
much.
gets born onto a normal human world, a civilized world, a hive world,
Well,
even a forged
it's
world.
it's probably not much different than the second part of Scenario 1 where he ended up with the orcs because that's
Yeah,
like
it's either he ends up with
he's
the
already so close to them that that's probably what the Hulk would be.
yeah.
Is an orc, some type of orc leader.
Actually, yeah, it is possible that gamma radiation goes into an orc, in which case you end up with that scenario.
Yeah.
It's possible it goes into a human, in which case the most likely scenario on a standard world, civilized hive, any any type of world. I was naming more before. Death world doesn't matter. He's likely to just get that gamma radiation, go out of control, wipe everyone out, because
then-
people aren't gonna have the plot armor here. Let's be
Yeah.
honest. It's plot armor that keeps Hulk from wiping out all of humanity.
Oh, 100%.
And he'll wipe out a planet, then he'll be all alone as Bruce Banner or his equivalent.
Yeah.
And in all likelihood, just keep on living a solitary existence. Then looking at him through the Eldar are not going to accept him. He will. I mean, he's likely to be something of like a living avatar of Cain. But at the same time, they would likely just try to keep him confined and only use him as a last resort weapon of war. In which case, he's gonna break out and slaughter his craft wolf. Um, I mean, the Jutari. I mean, he's born into the Jutari. They're just gonna try to torture him and all sorts of other fucked up shit. In which case, he breaks out and is just fucking Amara, fucking killing people. And they'll probably let it happen because that increases suffering. That's keeping the pool of Slanesh at bay. Um, just fucking witnessing that suffering. Then I mean, Necrons, they don't have the ability to be affected by radiation.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that we're done then. I think the answer just kind of uniformly is Hulk survives 40K
Yeah,
in most scenarios.
I would say most of the time, Hulk survives, likely meeting a natural death. The assuming that the Imperium does not use a life eater virus.
Yeah.
In which case, that's the scenario he dies,
Yeah.
going up against the Emperor as a warlord during the Unification Wars. There's a good chance he dies.
Yeah. It's not for certain, but there's a good chance.
Yeah. It's hard to say. There's not a whole lot of data of the Emperor fighting. We literally only have the end and the death, and then one scene of him fighting like this with Mega Boss. But he also had some struggles with that, so that's the thing. So I think odds are like maybe 60% in the Emperor's favor, but it's it's hard to say. Um,
All
yeah.
right.
Overall, I think he's likely to survive.
All right.
And he's the only one. So we're calling it here
Yeah.
in almost an hour. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to us if you want to see more videos similar to this one, and most importantly, comment on who you would like to see next.
Yeah.
Um,
We saw this video in a comment, as well as this was originally going to be the first video that we did. We had some audio issues
yeah,
with the first one. We
and
decided we wanted to do like natural, like our thoughts in real time, so we didn't want to do it again.
so the guy who actually uh suggested the video in the comments. There were actually two of them. We're going to be posting their comments right here for you guys to see. I can't remember the names off the top of my head. I am sorry about that, guys. Uh,
It happens.
yeah.
Yeah.
But shout out to those two for giving us incentive to make this video. Everyone else, like I said, comment who you want to see next, and hope you
Yeah.
have a great rest of the day.
Yep. See ya.